And welcome again to For Your Consideration here at Rafael at Home. My name is Sterling Hedgpeth. I'm the programming manager for both the DocLands and Mill Valley Film Festivals. And my little sister, which you just saw, is the official submission for Switzerland for the Academy Award of International Film. And joining us today are the co-writers and co-directors of that film, Stéphanie Chuat and Véronique Reymond. So thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, hi, everybody.
Congratulations on a wonderful film. It's obviously the film centers around Lisa and how she's torn between contemplating her own mortality by watching her brother in his last days, as well as being torn with all these ambitions for the future, some of which she is denied access to because of her own marriage. What was it about Nina's, and Nina Haas does a wonderful job as the actress. Tell us a little bit about what it was you wanted to emphasize in that character and what your process was in terms of casting Nina for that part.
Maybe we can start with Nina.
Yeah.
Because so we discovered Nina Haas in Barbara from Christian Petzold in 2012 in this amazing movie, and we really thought, my God, we would love so much to work with her one day. So we speak French, she speaks German, and then in our ideas, we thought we would love to work with non-French speaking actors, because we like the physicality of German actors, especially German theater actors. And so we started to develop a story taking place in Switzerland, in where we imagined Nina Haas. And this story takes place in the boarding school milieu, because it's the expat world. Because in Switzerland, there are many foreigners living, and they live in this, for example, the boarding schools, and it's a very closed milieu. It's very difficult to get in. And we really started to imagine this story. And then we had an incredible stroke of luck, because we met by chance Nina Haas in a boutique in Berlin. So we went to this shop and we saw her and we thought, oh my God, we have to talk to her. So we waited until she had finished her purchase. We went to her and we said, hi, we are two Swiss filmmakers. We are writing a movie for you. Do you have time for a coffee? All in one breath like that. So we gave her our number, thinking, oh my God, she would never call us back, but she did. And 3 days later, we had a huge, very long coffee with her, and we really started this incredible creative relationship with her that went to the movie you see now.
Yes, and concerning the character, I think Nina Haas is very important for us, because she has this ability to connect with intelligence and also emotion, and she's very strong in transmitting both. And that's why, because our main lead character, she's a writer, she's a playwright actually, but she doesn't write anymore. She's devoted to her family and then to her brother, and she's just forgetting about her inner soul, I would say, somehow. And it's very difficult to express this as an actress, and also to write it as a character, because it's kind of subtle, it's delicate, but it's a way to get your freedom as an artist. And when you are a woman, you feel always guilty for your family, for not doing enough for everyone. And at one point, you just have to be selfish. And this is what she kind of learns through all what happens to her and her brother. And the brother helps her to be selfish again. And this is something, it's a way of getting free somehow.
Let's talk about storytelling a little bit, because yes, Lisa is a playwright, Sven is an actor. They're both storytellers, and one of the final scenes in the film is where you see them most connect in their collaboration as storytellers together. Yeah, and in the meantime, we hear issues around Shakespeare, around the Grimm brothers. What was it about the act of storytelling that you wanted to concentrate on in what their bond actually brought them together about?
It's interesting because we, as a duet, we have this collaborative, I would say, creative work completely. And there were scenes that we cut in the editing room between the twins when they were creating together by watching the world together. They were, for instance, in a car and watching outside people and inventing their lives. And this is something that we do all the time, Stephanie and I, actually. We invent lives all the time. When we see someone we don't know, always people we don't know, we invent their lives. And this was in the editing, this was in the shooting. And then in the editing room, the relationship between our twins, between actually Lars Eidinger and Nina Haas, was so obvious and strong that these moments were not useful anymore. We felt that the non-verbal bound was so strong that even stronger without having those creative moments. But it's part of the process to go to this last scene where they create together very much. But this was I would say, rooted before originally.
And it's also this creative magma. It's really a magma. And maybe it's interesting to know that Véronique and I have known each other since we are 10 years old. So obviously it's some decades now. And we met at school and we really grew up creatively because we first are actresses. So there is a lot of us in this movie because we come from acting and we share all this creative world. We have these references that Nina, Lisa and Sven have because they are twins, but we have kind of the same, and we can go to references that are from our childhood. I can speak of a teacher we had when we were 10 years old, and instantly Véronique will know who she would be, and maybe we can insert some part of her in a character. And of course, in the end of the movie, we go back to this magma before Wednesday and the other goals.
Did Lars and Nina have time to hang out and maybe collaborate, either to come up with that casual shorthand naturally or just work out their characters together in ways that maybe you didn't expect?
Nina and Lars are very, very busy actors. So actually we only had them one day together to read the whole text and see what could be adapted in the dialogues. The big chance we have is that they worked together at a theater school when they were in their early 20s. So for 2 or 3 years, they were in the same class.
Before 4 years.
Yes, before being Lars Eidinger and Nina Haas, they were students. And Nina Haas says something interesting because she grew up in an artistic milieu. Her mother is an actress. Lars comes absolutely not from an artistic family, and he was the younger of the class. And Nina says when she saw him so pure, so full of energy, of illusions too, she was a bit scared for him. How will he do in this world? Because she knew how hard this world can be. So she already had this protective aspect, this big sister, not little sister, because she's the older one, not in life, but in relations, let's say, or in this theater school. So they already had this, but they never could use it in any creative thing outside of school because they nearly never acted together after. So we were very lucky because we didn't know that, but they had this bond actually already.
Wow, that's wonderful. Now, you two have worked quite often together with collaborations, not only with fiction films, but with documentaries too. Do you find that your process is different? Or is it just the content that is specifically draws you to a particular project, whether it's fiction or nonfiction?
It has to be completely different because it's so different to shoot a documentary or to shoot a fiction. A fiction, you know so much, but you know so few because you have so many people on a set and so many parameters. Exactly, you have so many parameters that can just make your movie be a disaster or a miracle. You never know. And with a documentary, it's also the same thing, but not in the same process, I would say, because it's about life and real life. And you have to deal with real life all the time and just grab what you can and what you feel that is going to be very interesting for your storytelling, because you have a storytelling, but it's creating in front of your eyes. So it's something very different. But still, we had a very strong relationship with the protagonists of our documentary. and they were a bit like characters after a while. And what is so strange is that some people asked us after having watched the documentary, they wanted to know about our script and they wanted to read the script, and we said there's no script, it's a documentary. But for them, and they were saying, oh, I love the actresses. We said there are no actresses. So maybe we have something with characters, even in a documentary.
But the common thing in the two ways of doing films is the truth. We very much look for the truth of the characters and the story, and one feeds the other, and that's really the great chance to have the possibility to do both, because we did a documentary short before, not a long time before My Little Sister, and I really could feel that we had gone through this reality and truth of the character, and this is really our guideline, our red thread. It's this, to feel the truth of every situation, every moment, every word.
Great. Now, My Little Sister, was that a project, a story that you had been working on for a while, or is was that something that came up very naturally recently, simply because of a story idea that maybe that occurred to both of you?
No, to be honest, we've been working on it for a while, really, because when we met Nina Haas by chance in this boutique in Berlin, we were working on it since some months, I would say, and it was in 2015. And then it took 4 years until we could shoot it. And then 1 year for all the post-production process. And it was premiered in competition in the Berlinale in 2020. So I can say that it took 5 years to create this movie. So it was a long process, and we were also personally kind of involved, not without our will, involved in the writing process, because it's strange, but we went through things that are kind of very close to the topics, because Stéphanie's mother was sick in 2016. Mm-hmm. And she had cancer, lung cancer, and Stéphanie became her, I would say, carer for less than 1 year until she died. And we were writing, and Stéphanie couldn't write anymore. And I was just watching Stéphanie taking care of her mother and trying to write it down in our Schwesterlein. And reality and fiction at one point were very close.
Wow. Do each of you have a particularly favorite memory about the shoot? Either something that didn't go right, or something that you had to overcome, or maybe just a funny anecdote that really stands in your mind for each of you?
For me, there are two strongest moments. One is when we shot the last scene of the movie. It was an incredible moment, because we were just with Lars and Nina and looking for the choreography of this scene and the inner choreography that goes in Lisa, because she does the whole movie travel in one scene. She does it all again. And at one point we felt the scene was there. So we said, okay, we had a very limited crew to shoot it. And it was really an incredible, magical, un moment suspendu, you say in French, like, you know, where everything is like, like a magic moment, really. And it was so beautiful because it was the last scene of the movie. And for me, in the shooting, it was really a very, very special moment. And the other moment is when we showed the movie for the first time to Lars and Nina only in a theater in Berlin, some days before the Berlinale, only the four of us in a room. So you had the two fiction films in front of us, we were behind, and we could follow all their reactions. And we had worked so much for this moment. This was always the point throughout the whole process, the moment we will show the movie to both of them alone. It was so fragile, and it's also one of the very, very strong memory I have.
Yeah, I share these memories with Stéphanie. And also there was one very strong emotional moment while shooting. It was at the coffee machine in the hospital when Lisa has just her brother in the emergency, and she has a call with her husband, and she's just telling her husband what's going on, and she's exhausted. and she just wants a coffee in this coffee machine, and there's a guy on her back telling her, but it's not working with a card, you need pieces, comment on dit, la monnaie? Coins, you need coins. And he offers her a coffee, and it's very simple, but this simple gift makes her cry and completely getting completely emotional and vulnerable and fragile. And that so strong woman for one little coffee just falls apart. And this is something that it was amazing just to watch Nina Haas doing this, because you always have technical issues. There is always a problem, and you cannot make this take once. You have to make it 3 times.
Yeah, and it's a one-shot scene.
It's a one-shot scene, of course. And it was, each time was completely in it, and she was completely in it. And the actor, the supporting actor, was so impressed. I remember this was such a, it was a, yeah, that was a, we say in German, Sternstunde, a star moment, but Stern in not star, I would say really a little miracle moment.
Oh, and just one thing, this is also, we both had an incredible moment. It's the first scene we shot. When you start to shoot your movie, you've been working for a month, everything is basically a mess, but suddenly you are here with the crew. And the first scene we shot, it's on the Schaubühne roof, when she comes and gives the text to Thomas Ostermeyer, and she's fighting for her brother. It's the first scene we shoot. So we are here and we see Nina coming and giving it all and being on such, she had the whole emotional arc of her character to be at this moment like that. And it's the first scene we shot. And I remember we just were, oh,
yeah.
And when you see the editing, it's perfect. She's right. And it's the first,
exactly where she should be.
So this was, for me, I'm just having the chills when I think of that, because, you know, you are in such a mess and suddenly there is this grace. So people who make films, I guess, they can see what it means.
Her character is at such an emotional breaking point at that point. She's so desperate, and in the hospital, she also has that breaking point where an act of compassion would just affect her so deeply. They're both really wonderful scenes. Do you know what you're planning on working on next together?
With her? When you say together or together?
The two of you together.
The two of us together, we are writing it. We have, let's say, we have 2 things on the fire.
Yeah.
We are writing a series taking place in Switzerland by the Lemon Lake, because it's a mysterious contamination of Lemon Lake. Geneva Lake, you say Geneva Lake. And it's, we began to write this, it was in 2016, but it's kind of, I would say, close to reality with this huge contamination and mysterious, and we don't know how to deal with it, but it's about water. And so, and this is what we are working on right now, and also we are working on
the remake of our first feature, La Petite Chambre, that was the Swiss contenders at the Oscars in 2011. And we are working on the US remake called The Little Bedroom. And so we've been working on the script on spec ourselves, but we seem to have found a producer. We have a great actress attached, but we cannot tell who it is yet now. And so we are really very excited if we would have a chance to make an English-speaking movie. It would be great.
Well, that's very exciting. We'll keep an eye out for that. Is the original Little Bedroom, is that available for streaming somewhere?
I think, but we can send you a link, of course. But is it available for streaming?
I'm not sure it's still available, because it's been released by Cinema Libre in the US in 2014. But I don't know if there is we could ask them, and if they have something VOD we can supply, we will forward it to you so you can have it on the website.
Yeah, I'm asking on behalf of our members who may be interested as well. But we'll definitely keep an eye out for the English language version. Congratulations on brokering that deal. And thank you so much for sharing this wonderful film with us. And we really wish you a very safe and healthy 2021.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
as well.
Yeah,
you as well in California.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.